One of the most useful things I've learned over the past decade is how hierarchies work. Understanding hierarchies is essential to understanding yourself, managing social interactions and conflict, knowing how to raise children, and cultivating greater empathy for the people we encounter. So, if you have a few minutes, allow me to share what I've learned. First, despite the fact that some folks complain about them, suggesting they were invented to keep people down, hierarchies are deeply and permanently embedded in nature. In the animal kingdom, as many people know, lobsters have been arranging social hierarchies for hundreds of millions of years. Chickens, the descendants of dinosaurs, have been establishing pecking orders for quite a long time. Wolf packs have hierarchies, as do troops of chimpanzees. The creation of hierarchies wasn't something conceived by the patriarchy. It is deeply embedded in the animal kingdom broadly, and in human beings no less than others. But watch out for the naturalistic fallacy. What is natural is not necessarily good, and what is good is not necessarily natural. The fact that something appears in nature doesn't tell us if it's morally good or bad. What we can certainly say, however, is that hierarchies are an extremely effective mechanism that enables a species to survive. If we consider whether they are desirable or not for human societies, the answer is simple. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. If you're organizing a military in order to keep the people of your nation safe, you're going to want a strict hierarchy in that institution. In a family, a 5-year-old should not have equal power and authority as the parents, as you may have noticed from visiting your local grocery store. If your soccer team wants to win games, there needs to be a hierarchy with a coach at the top and a ranking of first, second, and third string players. Some hierarchies are harmful and should be condemned. The traditional Indian caste or Varna system creates a very strict hierarchy. Where you are born is where you stay. While a significant component may be one's occupation, even more so is the belief that those in the higher castes possess a greater spiritual purity than those at the bottom. Traditionally, those in higher castes would not even eat with those in certain lower castes. Some are not even to be touched. I believe this is a pernicious hierarchy. And to be certain, the world has had no shortage of pernicious racial, religious, and class-based hierarchies. It's also true that many useful hierarchies get corrupted. Consider the hierarchy on a Little League team, where skill determines which positions are played and for how many innings, except for the coach's kids. Hierarchies that are beneficial in theory are often corrupted in practice, but they need to be reformed, not thrown out. It's obvious that there is a financial hierarchy in every society. Most of us recognize this as a good thing when it exists within a meritocracy. It encourages productive work, providing goods and services to others. However, there does come a point when the hierarchy becomes harmful to individuals and society at large, and we want government action to moderate its effects. If the people with more financial power create monopolies or unduly influence elections, we want some regulation. And when people at the bottom cannot acquire basic necessities, we recognize the need not to eliminate the financial hierarchy, Marxists, but to ensure the well-being of those at or near the bottom. So, just because a hierarchy creates negative effects doesn't mean we throw out the entire hierarchy, or hierarchies in general. That's just plain silly. Also, please note the world is full of hierarchies. You likely excel in some, stink at others, and you aren't even a part of most of them. There's a hierarchy of attractiveness, physical strength, bowling scores, sense of humor, pickleball, intelligence, moral character, knowledge of Seinfeld trivia, the pecking order at work and with your buddies, a gazillion of them. And we can move up and down, in and out of countless hierarchies. So, hierarchies are everywhere. Some should be dismantled, but most fill valuable roles in society. You may say you don't care about them or where you stand within them, but we all want to move up within them, and we should. There are two powerful impulses that explain why you and I like to move up within various hierarchies, and also why doing so is a good thing. First, there's the conscious recognition of the benefits. We get things from moving up. Moving up the wealth hierarchy means you can buy more stuff. Moving up the athletics hierarchy means more playing time, more respect from your peers, maybe assistance getting into college. Getting better looking means more possible romantic partners and people treating you better in general. Related to this, moving up in one hierarchy often helps us move up in others. Doing well in academics can lead to an increase in wealth, which can lead to an increase in attractiveness, which can improve your chances of getting thicker baddies, if that's what you want, as well as better treatment at work. Second, when animals move up in a social hierarchy, there is an increase in the level of serotonin. An increase in serotonin not only feels good, it brings feelings of contentment, well-being, and emotional stability. You sleep better, think better, and have less stress. These lead to behaviors that can achieve even greater success, thus creating a positive spiraling effect. Now, what happens when we move down within a hierarchy? Well, we witness the negative consequences: less money, less respect, fewer opportunities. The subsequent lower levels of serotonin are associated with depression, greater anxiety and irritability, trouble concentrating and sleeping. These are all obviously unpleasant in themselves, but they also lead to worse performances in other areas, making a downward spiraling in one's life much more likely. As a result, folks at the bottom of hierarchies have much more to worry about than those at the top. They're in far more danger of falling victim to assault, theft, abuse, and poor health. What little they have could be taken from them at any moment. And so understandably, they're less focused on the future. They aren't investing for later success. They think about gaining something positive in the moment. When we see folks who are down and out, expending their few resources in immediate pleasure, it's easy to condemn. It's easy to dismiss them for making poor choices. But it may be a natural consequence of their situation. It's a chicken and egg kind of thing, and we shouldn't be too quick to judge. So, understand that number one, hierarchies are natural. Number two, many are good, some are bad, and most of them could be improved. And three, good things come from ascending hierarchies, while bad things follow from moving down. So what are the useful lessons you and I should take away from all this? How can we improve our own lives and those of the people around us? 3 more things. First, understand the emotions you feel, why they arise, and then you can better manage your responses. Why do I have trouble being happy at my friend's success? Maybe because his success feels like I'm moving down the hierarchy. Maybe that's why I feel anxious and uninspired today. Simply understanding why certain emotions arise enables us to better direct our behavior. But too often we let them run our lives. We shouldn't try to eliminate them, but control your emotions, or you'll let your emotions control you. Second, when you see someone's life going from bad to worse, understand what may perpetuate that downward spiral. There's a biological reason why folks near the bottom of social hierarchies make rash decisions, are anxious, depressed, and uninspired. Moving down hierarchies means lower serotonin, and as we saw, this leads to other negative effects. Hopefully, understanding this increases our empathy for people in those situations, as well as seeking ways to help them back up. Third, if you want kids to thrive, they need to earn their way up various hierarchies. Hard work, competition, the real possibility of failure, opportunities to try again, whether it be in wrestling or spelling bees. They have to earn their self-esteem. It can't be handed out. And so kids need various opportunities to excel. Could be in cross-country or chess or coding, but they have to earn it themselves. And the acknowledgement by others of their achievements is an important part of the process. As many of you know, I'm a big advocate of the practice of martial arts. It's an excellent context within which you can slowly move up a hierarchy to earn that progress, all within a supportive community. And please note, being a member of a social group is also correlated with higher serotonin levels. Martial arts don't build character, confidence, and self-control because practitioners can fight well, but because they took responsibility for their own self-development. They had to do the work. The increase in skill, rank, and responsibility then reflect that. And a higher level of serotonin is why these folks are generally less likely to get in fights than those who feel at the bottom and therefore act more impulsively. And now your bonus education. If you're ever getting mugged and don't want to get shot in the process, make the bad guy feel good about himself. In that situation, I would say, okay, you're the boss, you're in charge. You tell me how we're going to handle this. I've now become the guy who makes him feel good about himself, makes him feel less anxious, more respected. And who wants to shoot that guy? Or you can do what one foolish person did in such a situation. Look at the mugger with disdain and say, "What are you going to do, shoot me?" Emasculate him. Treat him as being nothing on the social hierarchy. Question his strength of will. Not surprisingly, that person got shot. Hierarchies. What you don't know could kill you.